told you that you could not only have chocolate cookies, but double chocolate cookies. Yes, it's possible, and I'm going to show you how. We have all of our ingredients right here, and the main star of this is going to be our cocoa powder, but also our almond flour. Almond flour is a really good swap out to make your baking dishes a lot lighter and also better for you. So I have 2 cups of almond flour. Then we have a ½ cup of cocoa powder, and cocoa powder is really awesome whenever you're using chocolate for a dish because basically it gives you the chocolate flavor that you're looking for, but without all the sweeteners and all the additives and the oils and butters. So that's why a lot of times I like to make my own chocolate dishes at home because then I can control everything that goes into the dish. Then I did a ½ cup of sweetener, ½ teaspoon of baking powder, and that just helps them rise a little bit. And then ½ teaspoon of salt. And I like to add salt whenever I'm baking because it offsets the sweetness perfectly. So that's our dry ingredients that we mix into a bowl. We're just gonna give it a little mix here. And I love to use almond flour when I'm baking for the nutritional benefits as well. It tastes really good. It has the natural fats from the almonds so that your cookies are never dry or bland, but it also is really good for you. Almonds are very heart healthy and they have a lot of nutrients that support your immune system and your joints. And so it's really good for you. I like to give it to Maddie oftentimes in baked goods. In fact, she eats these cookies for breakfast. And then just about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and a 1/3 cup of applesauce. And those are our wet ingredients, and we're just gonna stir to combine this just until a cookie dough forms. And you could see how simple these were. So a lot of times when people think of chocolate and cookies, they think, oh, you know, I can't have that because it's not good for you. And then people see me giving Maddie cookies for breakfast and they wonder what kind of mom I am. And they're like, wait, I thought you ate healthy. But so really these cookies are just almond flour. So it's almonds that are ground up, cocoa powder, which are really rich in antioxidants, and applesauce, a little maple syrup, and some sweetener. So it really has all the foundational elements to a really good meal, snack, or even dessert. And here I am talking about cookies being breakfast, but we're gonna make them a little bit sweeter so that they actually are dessert as well. And we're gonna add our chocolate chips. So you can add about a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips to the mix, or a little bit more since it is a chocolate show. You can go crazy. And we're just gonna stir those in. Okay, so that looks great and it came together into a cookie dough. So you could either scoop them up using a cookie scoop or you can just kind of roll them into balls with your hands. You just want to make them close to the similar size so that they bake at the same speed. And so you can kind of press them down just a little bit. Since these cookies don't have butter in them, they won't flatten like typical cookies. So if you kind of shape them, they will spread just a little bit, but if you flatten them, then it helps them bake up perfectly. And the relationship that I have with my dad is really cool because we're very similar in nature. We're both a little bit more on the quiet side, but we both love to serve. So that's kind of our love language and our giftings. So typically whenever it's a party full of people in a room, my dad and I will be the ones that are kind of looking around and thinking, okay, how can I serve our guests that are here? And I find that Maddie has a very similar personality. Not only do we all 3 love chocolate, which is really fun, but she's kind of like my dad in a lot of ways. She's a little bit more quiet until she gets to know you. So it's been really neat to now watch her relationship with my dad and see how they're very similar as well. So we're just gonna continue rolling, and these cookies are so delicious. They're kind of a little bit more crisp on the outside, but soft and chewy on the inside. And you would never guess that they don't have any white flour or white sugar in them. And that's another thing that's very similar about my dad and I, is that we both have always had a real sensitivity to sugar. We don't do very well with having a lot of sugar. Usually our blood sugar is very sensitive to candy bars or any kind of chocolate treats that have a lot of sugar in them. And so I find that whenever I make something with monk fruit sweetener or stevia, but it still is cocoa powder, it's a great way to enjoy the treats that we both love with chocolate. But it doesn't get that insulin spike and it makes us feel much better all throughout the day. And so that's the benefit of making healthier swaps and finding healthy alternatives is not just about having your pants fit better and enjoying chocolate, but it's also about feeling good. And so that is what I look for whenever I'm trying to create a recipe, is how can I create this in a healthier way that really supports and nourishes our bodies and our health. So I'm gonna pop these into the oven, 350 degrees for about 12 minutes, just until they're set. And then when we come back, we're gonna put a chocolate spin on a coffee drink.